Tower 120.1.
So when I pull up to ask for clearance, then we're not going to an airport or anything, but we're going past the practice area. What would I ask clearance for?
Yeah, so we're going to request taxi the active for an east departure at 3,500.
That's it. Okay, on a simulated offshore for departure.
We could request. How does this door stay shut?
Just pull it pretty firmly, like slam it.
Ground,
Okay, just slam it.
Kilo Romeo Foxtrot with information Delta.
Offshore ground, Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey.
Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey, offshore ground.
Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey is at the Enterprise.
Hey everyone, as some of you know, I've been working on my IFR for some time now. I've had a couple of false starts, first in 2021 before my plane went down for a few months, and then again in early 2022 I picked it up, but then got derailed by a mix of COVID and our big trip to the Bahamas. But I picked it up again seriously in June, and I've been working on it pretty solidly since then, and I think I'm getting pretty close to getting it done.
364, contact tower holding short runway 12, Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey. We're up.
I've loved just about every moment of it. I'd heard that it was much harder than getting your PPL in the first place, and that's actually proven to be true. There have been moments and even hours that have actually been really, really intense flying under the hood or even in real IMC, which I've gotten a few hours of, thankfully. But when you're new to it and you haven't yet built the muscle memory and the experience and the proficiency to be good at it, it can actually be pretty intense and pretty tiring, both physically and mentally.
North inbound.
So twist your course, then twist your butt.
Number 2, Fox Quebec.
Along the way, I've of course been recording everything during the lessons, and as I've been going through the video, there have actually been a few little things that I thought might make for an interesting video, both to solidify my learnings and to share with people who maybe have thought about doing IFR but haven't started it yet, or who maybe are working on it but would just find this interesting. So I thought I'd put together a few videos and share them with you. Keep in mind, I'm not an instructor, so these are not meant to be instructional videos. These are purely for entertainment purposes and to help me as I prepare for my check ride. If you're interested in getting an IFR rating, I highly suggest you go find a local instructor and let them help you with that. I don't know how many of these videos there'll be. For now, this first video is from early on in the training when my instructor Allan and I were focusing on learning VOR intercepts and GPS leg intercepts. Hope you enjoy it.
Click Golf Tower, stand by.
Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey, radar identified.
Golf Tower, clear land.
Climb maintain 3,500 for now.
Climb maintain 3,500, Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey.
Alright, so here's a typical instruction you might get. It sounds something like this. Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey, Toronto Terminal, intercept the Tango 781 route between Tizoc and Taleb.
Okay, Toronto Terminal, Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey, intercept Tango 781 between Tizoc and Taleb.
This is how we would do it. Flight plan. Cursor.
Familiar traffic off
Menu. Activate leg. And then enter. And then it'll make it active. So I'm going to have you try that. So hit flight plan. Go to Taleb. Menu. Activate leg.
Activate leg.
Enter.
Activate.
So if you now go back to your map screen, you'll see that this is now magenta.
Yeah.
So you want to put in a track of 073 with the course.
Okay, so 073.
And you want to turn to the point that the CDI is deflected to.
Right.
So bug the heading of about 120, give or take. And if you look at the map screen, you'll see that the airplane is now on a 45-degree intercept.
Right.
We can see laterally how far we are with offline with the GPS. We're 2.4 nautical miles off track.
Huh.
I typically run it between this map screen and that screen.
Map screen and... Oh, okay.
So it's just left and right with the outer key. This lets me see the track compared to the desired track and the distance off course. This gives me a top-down.
Okay. Yeah. Great.
So this is it. We're on the Tango route. This is what we'd be doing en route. We'd be getting our radios tuned for the next frequency.
Yeah.
If we were going locally, we'd be picking up our ATIS. We'd have that tuned. We'd be figuring out what approach we're going to be flying, and then we'd be briefing the approach, right?
Okay.
Of course, in our case, we're on a line that takes us nowhere because we're going back to Oshawa.
Yeah.
So let's imagine Well, I guess let's not imagine. Let's just practice some different types of intercepts. So you're familiar with VORs a little bit?
Yep.
I'd imagine.
Yep.
Because you have GPS, generally you're not going to actually use the VOR, but you could use the VOR feature by activating the cursor and putting in a VOR here. But if we were needing to do something with the VOR, we're just going to use the GPS. And in the GPS we have a page that has the nearest stuff. Why don't you show me the nearest VOR pages?
Okay. I missed it. There it is. Nearest.
Yep, and then twist the outer key until you see VORs. Okay, so the closest one we've got is the Victor Indy Echo. That's the Cohill VOR.
Yep.
So why don't we go ahead and select that. So we're going to hit cursor.
Cursor.
And then we can hit direct to get it in our system.
Enter. Enter.
Alright, so now what we're going to do is, you can open up your page too to the map, maybe your load chart if you want. And we're going to practice some basic VOR intercept stuff. You can be told to intercept a radial on the VOR. And that can get a little bit tricky, because in GPS we're thinking about tracks. We're not really thinking about the reciprocal, right? But when we're talking VORs, we're always talking about the radials that go out of the station. So for intercepting, we need a simple way to do that. So let's just give an example. Let's imagine we were told to intercept the 200-degree radial inbound to the Cohill VOR.
Okay.
To do that, I would first of all get the GPS set to the Cohill VOR like we've done. And because this has drawn a direct line to the VOR, I need to suspend that. So what button do we use for that?
So use OBS to suspend.
OBS, great. So now we basically have this GPS waypoint acting just like a VOR. When we twist this, you're going to see the line moves. So we can now manually select any radial we would like. We were given a specific one. It's the 200-degree radial inbound. So we're going to use our VOR rules to intercept. Because it's a GPS, we can kind of not do the TITH check. That would be the tune identifying testing of the radial. In our case, we can skip right to the setting part. For that, we use these three rules. Rule 1, in on bottom, out on the top. And we're talking about the head of the needle is the top, the tail of the needle is the bottom. So if we were told to go inbound on the 200-degree radial, how would we set the HSI?
Then you want the arrow on the bottom.
So we'd want the inbound radial on the bottom of the HSI.
Okay, right, so you want there.
Excellent. That brings us to rule 2, which is?
Right, add, left, subtract. So
RALs, right, add, left, subtract. So it is to the right.
So I actually want to turn it a little bit.
Well, we've got a couple options with this one. We're going to add or subtract our desired intercept based on the top of the OBS, or in this case, the HSI. We have a subtraction. We could just put the bar right above the CBI. But imagine you wanted a 90-degree intercept. We could add 90 degrees to whatever's on the top of the OBS. So 20 plus 90 would be?
110.
110. And you could turn to adding a 110, and you could see that would increase the angle of the intercept. We could use the map to help just confirm that. And now we're on our way more quickly to that radial. This might be the preferred way to do it, especially if you're in areas where there's big hills and you want to get on the safety of an airway. Right, so this is an example of what an actual airway looks like. Victor 300 off of the Bands VOR. You notice down here, though, they don't really have any airways anymore. All the airways are on the other side of the border. But it's something you will encounter. All right, you may as well put the foggles on. We're going to do one on the autopilot. With the foggles, and then we'll work towards doing one without the autopilot.
Balsam Lake at 3,000 feet. We'll just cross over to head towards Muskoka. Golf 0 for uniform. No comment.
Good. All right, so we'll call that intercept complete. That's looking great. So let's do a different one. So let's imagine we were told to intercept a track in or outbound from a NDB. Ooh, scary stuff, right? People are terrified of NDBs. So let's use the nearest pages to do that. So let's use the Peterborough NDB first of all. So we're going to have to find the YPQ beacon. Remember, those are VORs. So cursor. Just hit cursor. Cursor's up.
And there we go to, that was the other way.
There you go.
NDB.
And you're going to hit the cursor. Direct to. Enter, enter.
Enter, and you said which?
Now it has given you a track direct to it, which we know we don't want, so let's hit OBS.
Okay.
And now we're going to do the intercept, so let's just see where we are in relation to it. And, okay. Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey, intercept a 300-degree inbound track to the Peterborough Beacon.
Intercept 300-degree inbound track to the Peterborough Beacon, Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey.
Now the NDBs are super simple. So all you now have to do is twist this to an inbound track of 300 degrees.
Okay. Oh, inbound. So that's...
No, this isn't a VOR anymore.
Oh.
So you just simply put the HSI pointing to 300, so another 10 degrees.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah.
And now you're going to turn to do the intercept. So the CDI will deflect, turn to the heading it deflects to. And it's that simple. Okay, let's try another one. So this time we'll do an outbound track. All right. Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey, intercept a 130-degree outbound track from the Peterborough Beacon.
Intercept a 130-degree outbound track from the Peterborough Beacon, Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey, so we know we're already on Peterborough.
Yep.
Alright, so we just turn this, but you said outbound, so...
Yep.
Then I put the back of it.
Just put the track on top.
Really?
It's always the same.
Oh. And I'm that way. But...
Because we're talking tracks, right?
Right.
We're not talking radials.
But I want to turn around pretty quickly.
Yep.
That's going to take some mental adjusting for me. I haven't really been thinking in terms of NDBs and tracks.
Beautiful. And that's all there is to that. Okay, we'll call that one complete.
Alright.
Why don't you do a little hand flying for practice? When you're ready, you can disconnect the autopilot. Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey, I've got an intercept for the waypoint Taleb, advise ready to copy.
Ready to copy, Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey.
Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey, intercept a 330-degree inbound track to Taleb.
Intercept 330-degree inbound track to Taleb, Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey. So, let's see if I can
Luckily for you, the GPS is already taking you to Taleb, so it's only one step.
Already on Taleb.
With the GPS, what do you have to do with the GPS?
Turn.
OBS.
Oh, yeah.
Watch your heading.
Altitude.
And when we're talking tracks, we just put them at the top of the HSI. So it was 330 inbound track to Taleb. So twist the course, turn to where the CDI is deflected.
Right.
And that's your simplest way to do the intercept without doing any math at all. And then flick it over to the map screen to confirm you've got the, yep, looks pretty good, eh?
Yeah. And normally you would actually just get a scratch pad and actually write down every instruction they're telling you, right?
No, not really. The pros don't do it that way, really. But, you know, when you're new, is it a good idea? Absolutely. Yeah, I would say, why not write it down? But it's actually more work when you're already task saturated to be writing stuff down. And your airplane, because it's so well set up, you've got heading bugs, and you got a good GPS.
Yeah.
You got your iPad in front of you, you know, like, I would say it's up to you. I wouldn't hold it against you if you didn't write it down.
Okay.
But some people would say, no, you've got to write it down. You're crazy. How far are we from Taleb, and when do you expect to cross it?
We are 4.5 nautical miles away, expect to cross in 3 minutes.
Excellent. Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey, upon crossing Taleb, intercept a 360-degree track outbound.
On crossing Taleb, intercept 360-degree track outbound, Golf Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey.
Charlie Foxtrot Whiskey, roger. So what's the flag going to do when we cross over tail up?
It'll flip over.
Go front flag, right?
Yep. Right, so I don't even need to keep watching to see how close I am. I just look for the flag to flip.
Exactly. Yeah, it allows you to keep your eyes on your instruments.
There we go. So 360 track.
You got it.
Okay. Autopilot on.
Cool. Alright, so you can look at your foreflight there just to see where you are in relation to that air route, or sorry, Tango route. So we got tail up behind us, and then we got TZUC. So if you were told to intercept that air Tango route between Taleb and TSUC, how would we do that? So let's kind of go through this my process. So first of all, hit the flight plan button.
Okay, flight plan button.
So remember how we took off Oshawa and then we went Taleb, TSUC, Taleb. Let's imagine we had to go back. So maybe the weather was bad and we decide, oh, we don't like the look of this. We're going to reverse the route. And ATC says, okay, let's just invert that route to keep it simple. You're cleared back to Oshawa via Taleb, TSUC, direct to Oshawa or something. Okay. So hit the menu button now that we're in the flight plan. You're going to go down to invert flight plan.
Enter.
Yep. So now that's got it in reverse.
Oh, wow.
And we know that we're going from Taleb to TSUC. So what we want to do is select TSUC and hit menu.
Menu.
Then we're going to activate leg.
What did I do here?
So it should be down there, maybe. Maybe not, eh?
I think I might hit enter instead of menu by accident.
Alright, Taleb. Menu, yeah, there you go. Activate leg.
Alright, activate.
So now, you're just going to set your desired track with the HSI to 253. And then fly the heading bug to where the CDI is touching. That'll get you on that route. I find I tend to use that activate leg feature quite often on visual approaches. And like imagine we were actually IFR returning to Oshawa right now, but the weather in Oshawa was good. They tell you to expect the visual approach for runway 30 or whatever it is, right? Fantastic, but we still might want to have some help from the GPS. Maybe we still want a glide slope to follow, or maybe we want a CDI deflection to help get us lined up. So in that situation, we could use the vectors to final selection in the GPS, and we could activate whichever leg of that final approach that we want, so that when we get to that magenta line, we're now going to have a glide slope that we can use to follow it down. So we'll do that when we go back, because we're going to do the visual for runway 12. We're going to pretend that we're kind of coming back IFR. And I'll show you how I would use the GPS and activate leg feature to make that a little easier.
This early on in my IFR training, we were really focused a lot on learning how to do intercepts of both VOR radials and GPS legs. As you can see, for most of it, I was kind of like a deer in the headlights, doing what Allan was saying, but hadn't really internalized everything yet. It's incredible how different it is reading about this stuff in the manuals and the books versus actually sitting on a plane and having to do it when HC gives you an instruction. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you'd like to watch more of them, please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. See you in the next one, and in the meantime, fly safe.
An actual glide slope that you can see, but we can calculate it and fly it based on that equation.